we are. It's 10:59 at last, and I think I am live. So, everybody is joining us, it looks like, from all around the world. Hello, hello, welcome. My name is Dalrymple, as you probably already know if you're watching this, and this is Felix. And we're here to talk about a song that I am releasing tomorrow into the world called I Will Sleep on Your Grave. Note the spooky soundtrack in the background. Let's see, I wanted to make this video. Well, let me just say, I've never done a YouTube live stream before. This is brand new. So if you're just joining, hello. Yes, I've never done a live stream before. I guess I always thought I was a bit intimidated by it, being live and all. I couldn't edit it. But now that it's a new year and a good time to try something different, something new, a little out of my comfort zone. But I am comfortable, in case you were wondering. So yes, another strange synchronicity cropped up today. I was looking at the photo I took of W.B. Yeats's grave while I was in Ireland, and I noticed that he died on January 28th, 1939. The song is coming out January 27th, the day before he died. That was not planned, that just happened. But I've always felt a connection to Mr. W.B. Yeats. In fact, I dedicated my first play, The Middle Kingdom, to his immortal memory. So, let's see. Yes, more people joining. Welcome aboard, welcome aboard. What's that? Oh, well, he's a bit shy, so he's gonna go down here now. There you go. It's okay. A bit camera shy. No problem. I will sleep on your grave. Yes. Oh. He wants to push a button. Here you go. Feel it. Right. Now we're ready. So I became interested in the idea of grave sleeping and cemeteries in general very early on. I suppose when I wrote this song, these ideas were somewhere already buried in my consciousness. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, on the outskirts in the suburbs there, and there was a cemetery near my parents' house, just a stone's throw away. And I thought it would be a great thing to bury myself in that cemetery and my girlfriend as a gift to her for her 16th birthday. And that's just what we did. There was a bit of chocolate cake, a bit of Hawaiian punch, and a couple shovels on our shoulders, and off we marched into the graveyard. Well, there must have been a nosy neighbor watching, keeping a vigil at that cemetery, for they called the police. We did not know that at the time, and we were just happily digging our graves. It was then that I began to bury my girlfriend in the earth that it started to occur to me we were doing something that hadn't been done before or in this way. Something special was happening. Then I saw the policeman coming from a distance, and I quickly finished burying her and covered myself with the dirt. And he stood over our graves and just cleared his throat. And as if on cue, we both rose from our graves. as the undead would. And he was just completely baffled. Nothing in his police academy training had prepared him for two young teenagers burying themselves in a cemetery. And in fact, there were no laws which said that was illegal. So we kind of got away with it. He refused to give us a ride to school because he was afraid his cop car would get dirty. But that was one of the first experiences I had of doing something a bit out of the ordinary in a graveyard. Fast forward to, let's see, the year 2002, and I became obsessed with the band Dead Can Dance and their song, I Am Stretched on Your Grave. And I'd just like to read from this poem here. If you're familiar with Dead Can Dance and that song, I am stretched on your grave and will lie there forever. So that is actually an old Irish folk song called The Unquiet Grave. And this is the translation here I will read. I am stretched on your grave, and you'll find me there always. If I had the bounty of your arms, I should never leave you. Little apple, my beloved, it is time for me to lie with you. There is the cold smell of the clay on me, the tan of the sun and the wind. There's a lock on my heart which is filled with love for you, and melancholy beneath it, as black as the sloes. If anything happens to me and death overthrows me, I shall become a fairy wind gust down on the meadows before you. When my family thinks that I am in my bed, it is on your grave I am stretched from night until morning, telling my affection and lamenting bitterly for my quiet, lovely girl who was betrothed to me as a child. Do you remember the night when you and I were under the blackthorn tree and the night freezing? 100 praises to Jesus that we did nothing harmful, and that your crown of maidenhood is a tree of light before you still. The priests and the monks every day are angry with me for being in love with you, young girl, when you are dead. I would be a shelter from the wind for you, and protection from the rain for you. And oh, keen sorrow to my heart that you are under the earth. So I would encourage you to check out that song if you don't already know it. I Am Stretched on Your Grave by Dead Can Dance, where it falls within the theme. There's not a lot of songs. I did a bit of research into grave sleeping songs, and that was the only one that came up. Let me know if you know of another song or a poem about this subject. I'd be interested to hear that. Now, let's see, where were we? So I mentioned the story of burying my girlfriend and I in the cemetery as precocious youths. Then, in the year 2010, around there, I had my band Lasher Keen, and we were on tour in Europe. And in Lucerne, Switzerland that night, for some reason I was feeling pinched for money, and I didn't want to spend on the hostel for accommodations. And I thought, well, let's just sleep in the cemetery here in Lucerne, Switzerland. Why not? There's a little shelter over these crypts. And that was an amazing night. There were people coming into the cemetery all night, and we couldn't tell if they were from the land of the living or the dead. We didn't understand why there would be these people off in the distance in the cemetery, and it didn't sleep much that night. But it was a magical experience regardless. So this is another just memory of cemetery grave sleeping that I recalled. And then going to Ireland in 2015, went to Sligo, to Yeats country, and I had it in my mind to sleep on Yeats's grave because there is a Celtic tradition. I think that stems from Wales. For in the Welsh countryside is a mountain peak called Caer Idris, and in folklore, it tells you that up on this mountain there is a stone couch, what looks to be a stone couch, that the fairies are known to inhabit this stone area up on top of the mountain. And it said that if you sleep on that stone couch on Caer Idris in the morning, you shall awake either a madman, a poet, or dead. I don't know what the difference between a madman or a poet is, but the risk of death is kind of tantalizing for myself as a risk taker in some ways. Sleeping on Yeats's grave was my way of sort of testing the fates in a way to see if I would awaken a madman, a poet, or dead. I suppose if you wouldn't awaken dead. But so I'm in Ireland and found no accommodations that night on purpose. Found myself in the cemetery on Yeats's grave and had a tarp over me. It was the month of May, but pouring rain, of course. And I was in this kind of liminal space between sleeping and waking, between thoughts and dreams, this kind of magical realm within my mind that night. And there were ravens everywhere. It was just so picturesque. In the morning, I remember just picking up all these raven feathers as souvenirs of the experience. And I don't know what I was waiting for, if I was waiting for some sort of subtle occurrence or some just blatant manifestation, some religious, spiritual manifestation of Yeats to appear before me and tell me the meaning of life. But the memory of that night just stayed strong within my psyche, my consciousness. And it was about 3 a.m. that the police showed up as well. And I was fully not prepared to be met by a police officer at 3 a.m. And he just looked down at me there and pulled the tarp over me and said, "What are you doing there? Sleeping on Mr. Yeats's grave?" And all. I said, "Well, I'm traveling from America, and it's a tradition of mine to sleep on the graves of poets that I admire, that I might glean some kind of otherworldly knowledge from their spirits. And Ireland is nothing if not a country that respects poetry and poets. And I think poetry is within the soul of the Irish. And he completely understood where I was coming from. It was brilliant. He just said, "Well, carry on then, lad. Fair play to you. I just wanted to make sure you're all right with the rain and all." He drifted off into the night, leaving me alone once again. So now, coming forward into present day, well, to last year, I wrote the song, "I Will Sleep on Your Grave." It's coming out tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this. If you're watching this tomorrow, it's coming out today. And I forced myself to write the song in 15 minutes because writing songs for the past 20, 30 years, I guess, let's see, it's been 23 years or so, I tend to really take a long time and focus a lot on the words and edit the music, and yeah, it's a process, to put something out into the world. But with this song, I wanted to just see if I could, as a test to myself, to see if I could write a song in 15 minutes and what that would look like. And so I just grabbed the guitar and I was just sort of chanting in tongues, singing in tongues. When you're just sort of stream of consciousness, just strumming a chord. I will sleep on your grave. And those words just came out as I was just strumming and singing nonsensical phrases. I will sleep on your grave, just pour it out, as if in a daydream. And I thought, oh, there it is. That's the line. That's the story. That's the story of the song. And quickly, within 15 or half hour, scribbled out the lyrics, and the song was born. Of course, then it got developed further with the Wild Diamonds, added a little solo section and such, but the general foundation of the song was there, and the story of the song. So I'll just play for you an acoustic version, solo, of the first couple of verses. And thanks for tuning in. I know it's late, but I'm a night owl. Although I have a son, and it's hard to be a night owl when you're a father and you have to take your son to school in the morning. But still, I can't resist the night. Good night to the stars. Good night to the moon. Good night to your heart, colder than this tune. This tune is a grave, has a name, it still has memories. Those memories are mine now. As soon as I fall asleep, I will sleep on your grave. I will sleep on your grave. Open up to me the secret you once hid. Open up and help me understand the end. Against the enemy called time, who sleeps inside your head. That was just a dream between the living and the dead. I well, I will sleep on your grave. I will sleep on your grave. So that's just a little version of the song acoustically. And the next verse goes on to say, faster than a superman is the speed of life, the speed at which we journey into our eternal night. We may be strong, we may be wise, but we are still just made of clay, molded and twisted up by the fickle wind of change. And so this last verse is about time, obviously, and the myth that, I think it's a myth that people say the older you get, the faster time goes. Well, I don't buy that, because when you're a child, every day sort of feels like a whole entire year. So time is malleable, and my friend told me recently that an older friend of mine who grew up in the 60s, she said, in the 1960s, time, and the 70s, time moved slower than it moves now. She could just feel it. And I felt the truth of her words, that I think with the advent of technology and all the stimuli, here I am with this stimuli, but all the stimuli that we're bombarded with every day, it makes the heart beat a little faster and puts us on edge a little more. And yeah, that's what that lyric is about. Faster than a superman is the speed of life, the speed at which we journey into our eternal night. And there's no reason for that. We can live forever because we have forever. And it's just all in how you look at it. Time is not just marching in this straight line. It's all existing all at once. And it feels that way, that immortality is within our grasp. And it's so simple. So that's a bit about the song. I wanted to make this video short. And before we say goodbye, on a positive note, I just wanted to read from Grant Morrison's The Invisibles. Percy Bysshe Shelley is a character that crops up. Him and Lord Byron are discussing the death of Shelley's daughter. And Shelley says this to Byron: I cannot stop talking to the future. I have so much I must say to the unborn, suffering multitudes. I know where utopia lies. It is here. Where is the love, beauty, and truth we seek but in our mind? The golden country, forever new, the home of all hearts untouched by time and pain, here, waiting for us to grow up and recognize it and come home. Been recommended to me to read that for a long time, and it's been great diving in. Now let's see, let me check my notes, make sure I didn't forget any pertinent information about our talk here. Yes, talked about that. Conscious memory. Oh yeah, I was supposed to hit the fog button again. Yeah. Forgot about that fog. The second one. Yeah, so May your unconscious thoughts and your dreams manifest in the most unexpected ways, for synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have the eyes to see, says Carl Jung. And I think that's true. In the morning, I woke from Yeats's grave and I read his tombstone. I really read it. And it just says, "Cast a cold eye on life, on death, horseman pass by." No one can agree on what that means, but Yeats wrote his own epitaph, actually. And those lines come from a poem he wrote 4 months before he passed away under Ben Bulben. And this is what he wrote at the very end of his poem. He's talking about himself here. Under bare Ben Bulben's head. Ben Bulben is a mountain, like a peak in Sligo. Under bare Ben Bulben's head in Drumcliff churchyard, Yeats is laid. An ancestor was rector there. Long years ago, a church stands near. By the road, an ancient cross, no marble, no conventional phrase. On limestone quarried near the spot. By his command, these words are cut. Cast a cold eye on life, on death. Horseman pass by. So I read a lot of interpretations of that meaning, and a lot of people seem to think that he's saying to regard life with a certain amount of detachment, to not take life too seriously. But I'll let you come to your own conclusions. Thank you for joining this live stream. This may be the first of many, who knows? I just thought I would give it a whirl and see what happened. Hope you enjoy the song tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you soon.